Hmm. Hmm.
So, been an agent for over 10 years now, and it's kind of a rat race for me, and I'm just kind of tired, to be honest. I'll do listings, but I'm just tired of working with buyers, and I've segued to more in REI, and got introduced to Ryan and the program, so hence why I joined the rookie program just to start out, and then yeah, here I am just learning about more about wholesale. I've tried learning about wholesale. I understand and know flips, but it's just not my thing. I know it's a step up. Like get your wholesale down, and then you can do flips. Flips will come easily, in my opinion. So I
Yeah.
like to take steps by step, and wholesale's kind of not new, but it's new. The process is new for me, and
Yeah.
so here I am, kind of reinventing myself because I did a lot of work with referrals and real estate traditional listings and buyers, but I just kind of want to take a sidestep away from that and do more real estate investing. And I think wholesale is a good avenue to go with. Um,
Hmm.
the fundamentals that you guys talk about, that you teach and able, like I get and I appreciate all that, all the education and the sales call with Dakota. But I'm kind of reinventing myself as a sense of my systems because I know
Hmm.
that's the foundation of everything, right? And so even before when I was in real estate, I still am. I was real estate is cold calling. That's what it is. Like if you're not cold calling, you're not doing real estate. That's plain and simple. So I understand it's the numbers game. You got to talk to people, have those bad conversations, hang ups, and all that. At this point, I want to make our conversation very um, uh, productive. So mainly the call that I wanted to talk to you about is setting up my system, my foundation, and I'm kind of going back doing Podio. I set up Podio, which I'm supposed to have a call with Casey tomorrow to kind of figure out, I guess, your app that you set up.
Oh yeah.
And so I cloned your stuff that you gave back a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and I
Okay.
just cloned whatever you did, and I just
Yeah.
plugged into mine, and I just copied yours. But and I started plugging in just some data, playing around with it. So I have kind of Podio as my new CRM that I use now, and I'm going to use that as for real estate in general. Um, my question also is just more about the setup. Like I've read everything that you guys have taught, but so first step is my question about like phone numbers. I know CallRail is suggested. I was looking online. YouTube smartphone is another suggestion. So I wanted to get your feedback on because I don't want to use my mobile number.
Right.
You could say use it, use a clone number, I guess you could say.
Right. Well, what dialer are you going to be using?
So I was looking into gonna do the Mojo dialer, a $3, and then I wanted to ask you: is a skip trace worth it for the unlimited $50 a month?
Oh, for Mojos?
I think it is. Isn't it like $50 you pay a month and you get skip tracing or
Sounds like a Mojo thing, maybe. I don't know. I haven't used Mojo in a while. But like, where else would you skip trace? What other places are you thinking about skip tracing from?
so I have a title rep that allows me to use her title toolbox with Pacific Coast Title, and my title rep gives me access. I paid 12 cents. I've skip traced a few areas, played around with it, but it's just another system I gotta learn, and it's just I've asked my title rep like, hey, just send me. This is what I need for category. I need NODs, empty nesters, and so on, categorized in this area, and then she sent me a list.
Oh wow.
Now I have a list, but it's like, okay, I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm not going to dial every single one, right? So, I mean, I could, but so now I'm kind of like, my systems isn't there. So I was going to go Mojo Dialer. And then there's something I forgot. There's like $50. I think I don't know if it's data tracking for unlimited or skip tracing unlimited.
I think it's data. I don't think it's skip tracing on Mojo.
Okay.
Okay, so the title rep gives you the records, like the home addresses and maybe the owner names, but they don't have the phone numbers, right?
Right. So if I get like, let's say Anaheim, for example, Anaheim, California, and a certain zip code, and categorize like how you guys do it, like, any liens or, you know,
Mhm.
empty nesters, baby boomers, whatever, NODs. she can categorize that for me, and then she'll send it to me. And then if I want to skip trace, I just have to put my credit card, and they send me the whole list with the phone numbers. So
Oh,
now I
title
have this.
company will?
What was that?
The title company will?
It's kind of a kind of yeah, the title company
Oh, wow.
app, I guess they use.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it's not directly from her.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so you have the phone numbers now.
yeah, so it's kind of like my prop stream, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. So instead of using PropStream, I have her that I can use, and she can give me the data. Um, and so I would get a list. Let's say I have 100, 300 in Anaheim based on NODs and next sellers and whatnot. Now I have all these numbers. Now it's like, what do I do with it? You know.
Right.
And so should I use the Mojo Dialer as well, or like I guess that's where I'm kind of like
Yeah.
I want to set it up correctly.
Well, cool thing is there's no one best way. The one thing that I do recommend is to use a dialer for sure. So there's a lot of different dialers out there. Mojo's a popular one. It's probably the most user friendly.
Okay.
That's the one I started out with. Call Tools is pretty cool. Right now, I'm really liking Ready Mode. Ready Mode used to be called ZenCall. However, it's not user friendly. Like you have to go through their trainings and like video trainings to understand like how it all works. Because
Okay.
I've used dialers and I was like, whoa, like how do you operate this thing?
Okay.
Um, but I like it now. Like I love it now, and it's been really cool. They're all pretty similarly priced for the most part.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of picking one. Like it doesn't really matter. You can just pick one, and you might end up trying all of them down the road. But just pick one for now. If you're comfortable with Mojo, pick it,
Okay.
and then essentially that list that you pulled that has the phone numbers and names and addresses,
Mhm.
you can import like a CSV file or an Excel file into the Mojo, and it'll be good to go. And then now you get just get to click a button, and it'll start dialing.
Got it. Okay. For the for the business line that I'm calling from, do you recommend CallRail smartphone, or do you have something that you recommend?
I've actually never gone with a specific phone number company like that. I've heard good things from CallRail, but I always just went with what dialer I used. So like I use Ready Mode right now, and they
Mhm.
provided numbers. So like I
Oh,
could buy numbers from them, and it wasn't their numbers. They would buy from someone else, like someone else. I don't know who. But it was just easier for me that way.
yeah.
So Mojo might have something like that. You might ask them like, "Hey, do you guys sell phone numbers too?"
Okay.
Um, how many numbers were you planning to get?
Just one, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
I was gonna start off with that, but do you recommend? I know you guys have talked about getting like multiple numbers.
I would for sure try to get like 30.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah, and the reason is you could be doing all the right things, but calling from one number, you'll be marked as spam very quickly, especially if it's like like, actually, I don't even know how you triple line with that, but especially if you're calling over and over again just that one number.
Mhm.
Like, for example, for me, I have 30 numbers for my specific area, and they're all the same zip code or area code, and it rotates the number. So every person that it dials, the next person is a different number, a different number, a different number. So there's just less likelihood that someone's either not going to get picked up or it just gets tagged as like the spam and stuff like that. I promise it'll make a difference. So that'll help for sure.
Okay.
And it
Um,
doesn't usually cost a lot. Like for me, I paid $30 to initiate that and get 30 numbers, and I paid $30 a month now to keep the numbers.
okay. And then if they go bad, like when you've mentioned about how you shuffle through numbers because
Yeah.
after your number gets spoiled or gets old, you
I
buy new
would I would
numbers.
yeah, I would just ask your dialer rep. I'm like, hey, like, what's best practices for Mojo? Like, how do people typically swap these numbers? Because usually the dialer, the sales representative, whoever you talk to sign you up,
Mhm.
they're pretty helpful. Of like, yeah, here's what best practices are. Usually, whenever I get a new dialer, that's like the first thing I ask is, hey, like, what metrics do you like to look at for this dialer? That's like gold standard, and then what are the bad metrics? So like, if I'm approaching that in my data, like I know, oh, something's bad, and I got to change something. Like, what are those things? The things.
Gotcha. Okay. So look into Mojo to see if they actually have numbers available. Because I rather do one stop shop. Like I'm not into
Yeah,
like trying to get so many different things from different areas.
yeah.
I was gonna talk about prop stream and getting data, but I mean I get it from my title rep. Do you think it's all the same, right?
It's
Like
it's for sure all the same.
Okay.
PropStream just costs money, and if you want a free one that's like PropStream, I think PropWire
Rockwire.
is a thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's free.
Okay. Yeah. My title rep gives it to me. So, and I
Yeah,
know
that's
the
awesome.
access. So it's kind of like my own prop stream. I just got to learn how to use their website. And it sucks, to be honest.
Yeah.
But she teaches me. She's there. She can help me, and it's literally like if I drive by and I see something like in Corona, I was driving by, I saw a property that I sold to a client, and then I was like, oh, this property looks good, and I just literally 12 cents got her info and everything. So I
Right.
haven't called yet, but I need to. um, once I got my system down with the whole Mojo dialer, starting to call, like I've been watching YouTube videos on how it's done. How do I integrate that with Podio? From what I've seen, you can integrate that, or
Mine's not even integrated. Like I, I,
oh,
I mean, I know there's a way, but like literally, if the only way thing you need is like if it becomes a lead, then I just like write down the data in my Podio and then say, oh, this is now a lead. So now it's in my system in Podio, and then on the dialer, just move on to the next lead and the next prospect to call. So
okay,
you definitely can. I know some people have done it. I don't know. I've never had the need yet to
okay.
to
I
care.
just
I guess.
yeah, I hear you. Because I know it's like you have notepads. You're like got different computers up, and I don't know if you're familiar with Mojo, but can you
Mhm.
write notes on that?
Yeah,
Like,
Mojo actually has like a CRM within it, so you could use that.
oh, okay,
The thing about that is like I didn't like it because if I ever stopped Mojo, like I'd lose the CRM data, and like I
yeah,
didn't like that.
that's
Um,
yeah, that's a good point. Because I'm all about keeping my own data, and
yeah,
like if once you quit, you're gone.
yeah,
Like
it's like oh, all that work, it's gone,
yeah,
for
that's why
however
I'm like
long.
Excel sheet, old school, like
Yeah,
typing it in, and I'm like, it's mine at least. So okay. Um, Yeah, though that's kind of the main part because I know that's the biggest thing of you got to make calls. That's where it
yeah,
starts. Like nothing happens after that. Like figuring out the contracts. I've done real estate transactions, so I
yeah,
know I can call you guys. Right? That's the awesome
yeah.
thing that
Heck yeah,
you guys are coaches, and I appreciate that. Where it took me a while to learn real estate transactions, but like assignment fees and novation and all that, it's still kind of a gray area for me.
yeah,
Um, are you in the California market or
yeah. I'm in Fresno, California. That's my market. So
do
Central
you?
Valley.
But you live in Vegas, right?
I live in Clovis now, so I'm in Central Valley now. I moved
Oh,
not long ago. Yeah,
okay, cool. So is that wait? Clovis is near Fresno, right?
yeah, super close.
Okay, yeah, because I used to go to the Bay Area a lot. So, um, cool. So, I mean, it's good to know that you're in California. So I know you Abel's in Pasadena. So it's another big part for me was just like California laws and what can work
Yeah.
and what cannot work. Do you also use like school or wealthy investors contracts, or do you use your own contract?
I use my own just because I started Wealthy Investor and I was already doing business and I already had the contract set and I got them from a local investor who already had it like read and approved by like an attorney locally.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'd rather just use these because they're local.
Yeah,
Because even if you use the Wealthy Investor ones, I do still recommend for you to go to your local attorney like, hey, like, does all this work in my city and exactly where we're at? Because if there's something in there that negates the whole contract, then it's like, oh, that would be bad.
yeah,
So it'd be good to
that's what
still
I was.
have it reviewed.
Okay, yeah, that's my other concern because it's like once I get a deal, and then I like try to use wealthy investors contract, and I know it's like Nevada based. I mean, like not all contracts are created equally
Yeah,
throughout nationwide, right? So that's my other step, but I'm sure I'm going to give you guys a call once I have the deal down and
for
making
sure.
sure I'm doing everything right. But other than that, I mean, mainly it's the systems. Are you transitioning? Sorry, this is kind of a segue, but are you transitioning to one-on-one coaching now?
No, this is just something I wanted to do because I started to feel bad. Like they kept telling me push everyone to the success managers because that was like that's my role. My role is the coach and just teach the calls.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, I know they want help, so I just started reaching out to people individually on Instagram, and then I kept on asking them like, can you just give me a list of like the active rookies? Because I don't want to reach out to all of them. I don't think a lot of them are even in the program now because they had like 1,000 or so.
Yeah.
Um, and they're like, yeah, here you go. Here's 80 or so. And I was like, perfect. So I just reached out to everyone. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make myself available because I wanted everyone to succeed and to let you guys know that I'm here.
I appreciate that. You and Abel have been awesome. Like just answering questions. Like I'll jump on the call even though it's not my week or
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm just like I'll learn something new from you guys. But getting this one-on-one time is like perfect because that's exactly what I need and it's a value to me. Um, and if I find a deal, I'd be more than glad to like JV 50-50, whatever it is with you
Yeah.
guys. Because my thing is, I'd rather learn fast. Money will always come, right? In
Yeah.
my opinion. So I'd rather learn fast with you guys that have done it already and, teach me through the mistakes than trying to figure it out and going through all these, bruises and bumps and like litigations possibly and everything
Yeah.
that I don't want to be in. So, um, I have the real estate background, which gives me a little bit of an edge in my opinion. But
Hmm.
this is kind of a new direction, but I feel it's not that much different.
Yeah.
Um, are you still an active agent?
Technically, yeah. I'm not a realtor, so I don't pay for the month. I just kept my agent license so I can refer stuff out if I have a seller that wants to do a listing. I'm like, oh, I have a great agent in mind.
Oh,
Here he is, and now I get a free referral. Like,
okay, cool, cool. I'm just wondering because I always like to keep network within California agents. Like if I know someone up there, I mean, I'm more than glad
yeah,
to refer to you, someone I know. So
yeah. But I mean, you're doing all the right things, man. Now it's just a matter of like making the calls. That's the part. I mean, okay. So, a question for you: when you were doing your agent work, what was the typical like amount of cold calls you would make in a day, a 6 hour, whatever shift you had?
when I had time and no kids,
Yeah.
um, it was literally when I got trained. My friend's a top agent in Orange County, and I learned through her. That's how I was able to excel. But we were taught get on the phone 8 a.m. and you call until about noon, and you just dial for dollars, as they say, right?
Hmm.
Like boiler room, and you just dial until you got an appointment, and then it goes to the next person. Either you go to the appointment yourself, or if it's a buyer, you bring him in for a consultation, do a consultation. If it was a listing, you get the rainmaker to go with you, and they try to lock up the listing.
Did you
And
use a
this
dialer or did you hand dial those at
goes
the
hand
time?
dial.
Yeah, I was like,
So
a lot of the brokerages never liked agents to do that for like litigation reasons. It was so interesting to me. But now that you're gonna use a dialer, dude, you're gonna have fun. Because right, like for example, right before this call and before my other coaching session, I went live cold calling for like 25 minutes or so,
uh
and I got a lead out of it, just the 25 minutes. And in the 25 minutes or so, or every 5 minutes, we call about 50 people, 50 dials. So then about in 30 minutes, you can call around like with a triple line dialer that I was using, was that 300 people, 30, like big difference maker, huge.
yeah. And then it was different back then. Like when I was
Yeah.
first starting, it was like they got those was like Boomtown leads, Zillow leads,
Hmm.
Redfin leads,
Oh,
and there,
I remember Boomtown.
God man, there was Tiger leads. There's so many. They're all garbage to me, to be honest. But yeah, this is just the new avenue that I feel that I need to make. And then I know the conversations like let's have a VA and all that. And I think you told me it's like if you don't know how to call and have your systems down, how are you going to be able to teach it to someone else? And I took that to heart in a sense because it's like that's true because it's like the blind leading the blind, and how productive are you really going to be? You're just going to be more stressed out at that point.
Yeah. And it's funny now that I'm doing like live cold calls and stuff, like a good chunk of these homeowners are asking like, "Hey, are you local?" And they'll always tell me, "I keep getting these calls and they sound like they're from freaking India, Hawaii, like somewhere super far away." I'm like, "No, no, I'm local. I'm local." So like it makes a difference
Yeah,
actually. And you can understand, and then when you hire out your first VA, like accent will matter a lot, if
yeah,
they're if you can speak American accent well, because that stuff matters.
yeah. Did you go to WealthCon? WealthCon?
No, I didn't make it to the last one. Wanted to.
Okay.